Hey there, YouTube. It's your boy Keon, Mr. Rocco Johnson here. This is going to be a little bit of a random video, but something that's been on my mind for a little bit, which solidified it even more yesterday. So I'm just going to make this video while I go to work. So that's my radar detector, and car's warming up now. But anyway, so what's been on my mind? Let me give you a little bit of a quick backstory. So this has happened to me a couple times, but yesterday in particular was mind-blowing to me. So I work at a Sam's Club. Now, of course, if you've ever been to a Sam's Club, there's a tire and battery place where obviously it's self-explanatory. That's what they do. And a FRS had pulled into the shop. So me, of course, being the guy that I am, I found out whose FRS it was, and it was this guy. He was like late 40s, early 50s, something like that. But basically I just had a conversation with him, and I initially went to talk to him just to ask him how his FRS has been, since I think he said he had anywhere from like 40 to 50,000 miles on it, and I just hit 20,000. So I just wanted a quick update. Just for the record, he said it was working fine, no problems. He even had an accident in it, but it still works like a charm. And I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, anyway, and I asked him what he had before the FRS, if he ever owned a sports car before then, and what he told me completely like threw me for a loop. He told me, now granted, this video is gonna be pretty much like an opinionated video, because that's, you know, these people's opinions, but he told me that he actually used to own a Porsche. Now, we didn't go into like what spec of Porsche, but he owned a Porsche Cayman. And when he said when he owned the Porsche Cayman, he said he loved that car. There were a couple things he didn't like about it, but I mean, come on now. No car is perfect, so there's always something you don't like about it. There's stuff I don't like about this car, but I still love the car. But he said, I'm gonna go ahead and set off now. He said that when he was hearing about all the buzz about this car and everything before it came out, because he had the 2012 Scion FRS, he said he was just like, you know, whatever, I'll just go and drive it, because I mean, that's what some people do. I do that sometimes. I hear about a car and I go test drive it just because. And he said he was so impressed by its handling capabilities, not the straight line or anything like that, because let's be honest, these cars aren't all that fast. But he said just the handling capabilities of it, and I don't mean to sound like all the other videos, but how fun it is, he fell in love with it. And he actually ended up selling his Porsche and buying a Scion FRS. What? And he wasn't lying to me at all. He, cause I told him straight up, I said, I don't believe you. Like, that is so hard to believe. And he said, believe it. Like, he showed me pictures of him, you know, with his Porsche and everything on his phone. That was like mind-blowing. But I'm also not surprised at the same time. Reason being, another quick story. This one's actually going to be quick. I was testing out my new camera, the one that I'm actually using right now, back when I first got it, like in June or something like that. And I was taking pictures in a parking lot, the same parking lot where I actually have the car meets at, that I also film. And this gentleman that worked in the office buildings there, he walks over to me and he goes, "Is this your FRS?" And I was like, "Yes, sir." And he said, you know, how do you like, how many miles are on it, how do you like it? And I let him know, like, I had it for about a year, but I don't have that many miles on it. I think at the time I only had like, well, I mean, there's still low mileage on it. I think I only had like 17,000 miles at the time or something like that. And he said, oh, okay. Sorry about the radar detector. But he said, oh, okay. So, you know, do you like it? What do you like about it? And, you know, I told him all that stuff. Anyway, he said, that's when he went on to ask me, and he said, you know, the reason why I'm asking you these questions, went on to tell me, the reason why I'm asking you these questions is because I own, now there was a sweet BMW in the parking lot. I didn't know whose it was, and I would have never thought it was his, because he didn't seem like, it's one of those things like never judge a book by its cover. But he said, yeah, I own a BMW M3. He owned the 2010 one. And he said, now don't get me wrong, I love this car and all, but I went out and drove my buddies, because evidently he has a friend that has an FRS, and he said he fell in love with it, and he's actually thinking about selling his BMW and buying an FRS, which blew my mind then, because, you know, that's personally one of my favorite cars, the 2010 M3. I mean, I even have it on my Need for Speed 2015 game. Like, that's one of my favorite cars. Just because, I'm not gonna go into detail why, but just because. But he actually said, now I'm not saying this is gonna be everybody, but he actually said he would sell, he wants to sell his BMW for the FRS. He just wants to know about the reliability and everything. He did say he would rather get a BRZ just because he likes the leather seats and all that kind of stuff, but you know, that's besides the point. Either way, he wants an 86. My mind was blown with talking to these two gentlemen. And then just me personally driving other cars and then driving this, I understand what they're talking about. Now, granted, there is a common factor with people wanting this car over cars like that, and that's the fact that this car is so good at handling, but it's also so much fun. Like, whenever I turn the traction control off, and you know, before everyone murders me in the comments section, let's go ahead and get out the way. And I put it in manual mode, and I use my paddle shifters and all that kind of stuff. And I go on some of the back windy roads, like on my off days. I just need, you know, chill or something like that. I have so much fun. And I mean, now I'm not saying I'm any kind of a like David Patterson or anyone like that, but I've driven a good amount of, you know, performance cars, and nothing made me smile more than what I've done in this car. Granted, I haven't owned them, but at least from me driving them, I love this car. And I mean, I've driven everything from Mustangs to, I haven't driven a new one. Excuse me, I want to. I'm going to sooner or later, but yeah, I've driven everything from Mustangs to Camaros to the Hyundai Genesis, the BMW 328, but the XI, so, well, the X Drive, so that's the all-wheel drive version of it. Yeah, you know, cars like that, the 350Z, the 370Z, Infiniti G37. Haven't driven the G35, but pretty sure it's probably just gonna pretty much feel the same. But yeah, it just blew my mind. Now, I will say, you know, obviously, if you're looking for a car with power, everyone knows this is not the car. But to hear people who had cars with, way higher horsepower numbers, better numbers on paper, period. And one second, I'm merging onto the highway. Why do diesel truck guys always gotta be dicks? Just let me over. But somebody probably has a diesel. I just said whatever. But yeah, hearing those two guys say that about, a cheap sports car like the FRS, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. And the gentleman I was talking to that bought the FRS and had a Porsche before, he got one of like the first couple shipments of it. So like he waited, he put a down payment down. He waited for that car to come. Like, that was amazing to me, and I couldn't believe it. And now it makes me want to drive even more cars versus this. It does. Like, I don't know when I'm ever going to, but now I want to drive a Porsche and compare it to this car, which before was insane to me. Because, I mean, let's be honest, you probably shouldn't doubt your own car, but it is what it is. Before I heard that, I would have never put this car against a Porsche. Of course, I saw Matt Ferrer talk about how he compares the FRS to a Porsche Cayman in some ways. And of course, I saw Matt Ferrer drive TJ Hunt's BRZ, where he of course said the same thing again. But I mean, you're hearing real owner reviews. He's not a real owner of a Porsche, or maybe he might be a real owner of a Porsche, but so far as I know, he's not. And he's not the owner of an FRS either, or a BRZ or anything like that. But I hear an owner who owned one and owns the other one, and it just blew my mind. So far as the guy for the BMW, I don't know if he ever bought it, but yeah, that's some food for thought for everyone, out there in YouTube land. Just because someone has a certain car, don't ever, downgrade the car or knock the car, because you never know what qualities that car could have over another one, no matter how far-fetched it might be. Now, granted, some people hype their cars up to be something that it's not. I mean, everyone does. But that's just some, real life food for thought. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. You stay classy. Have a good day. Hope everyone has a good holiday. Merry Christmas. Well, happy late Merry Christmas. And Happy New Year. And